Some phone makers, notably Huawei and LG, have yet to announce their 2018 flagship phones, but if you're trying to choose between the Xperia XZ2 and Nokia 8 Sirocco, we're here to help. Both have their strengths and weaknesses, and we explain how they stack up against each other in terms of their specs, features and design. Frustratingly, neither company has announced UK pricing yet. Nokia has said the 8 Sirocco will cost $749. But you can't assume this will translate to £600 per US $920. Sony hasn't announced a price in any currency, but rumors peg it around the £700 per US $749 mark. In truth, we expect both to cost a similar amount, but at these high prices, a lot will be expected, and competition from Samsung and Apple mainly is stiff. Both phones have upped their game in terms of design, but it's Nokia which is the clear winner in our opinion. Sony has done a nice job of making the XZ2 look good from the back with a curved glass rear, but that's hardly unique. Plenty of phones have those. At the front, there are still chunky top and bottom bezels compared to rivals. They may be smaller than before, but not enough to offer the wow factor you get with the Nokia. Plus, it's 12mm taller than its rival and surprisingly fat for a modern phone at over 11mm. The 8 Sirocco's vacuum-molded curved glass does look and feel great, but it's hard not to immediately conclude that Nokia has produced a Galaxy S8 clone rather than coming up with its own design. Whatever your view, it's good to see Nokia back and slugging it out with the big boys. Things get a bit tricky for the Sirocco when you put its specs side by side with any similarly priced rival, though. Even the XZ2, which itself doesn't stack up brilliantly against the Galaxy S9, trumps the Sirocco in several areas including its processor, expandable storage and screen size. To be fair, the Nokia does have a dual camera setup at the rear, more onboard storage, more RAM, a higher screen resolution and an OLED display, a slightly bigger battery and a smaller and thinner specification. Sony Xperia XZ2 Nokia 8 Sirocco operating system Android 8.0 Oreo Android 8.0 Oreo display 5.7 in Full HD plus 2160x1080 IPS 1895.5 in Quad HD 2560x1440 Port 16/9 processor Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 memory 4GB 6GB in some regions incorporated UK 6GB storage 64GB micro SD card slot up to 400GB 128GB not expandable primary camera 19MP f/2.0 12MP wide angle camera f/1.7 plus 13MP telephoto lens f/2.6 front camera 5MP video recording 4K HDR 30fps 4K at 30fps Wi-Fi 802.11 AC 802.11 AC GPS yes Bluetooth 5.5 and plus NFC yes fingerprint scanner yes wireless charging yes 3.5mm headphone no port USB-C waterproof IP65/88 IP67 dimensions 72x153x 11.1 mm 73x141x 7.5 mm weight 198 grams TBC battery 3190 mAh 3260 mAh. Neither phone has a standard headphone jack, but they are both water resistant and support wireless charging. Both place a fingerprint scanner on the rear and they run the latest version of Android. A unique feature of the Xperia is Sony's new dynamic vibration system, essentially the same as you'll find in the DualShock 4 PlayStation controller. The phone vibrates in games and when watching video or listening to music. It's the kind of thing that some people will call a gimmick, while others will love it. Photography is often where phone makers try to differentiate their phones, and it's no different with this pair. Nokia has gone for a dual camera arrangement with a secondary 2x telephoto lens and Zeiss branding. The assembly protrudes like the iPhone 8 Plus, but it's mounted vertically in the center. Early indications are that the cameras are capable of taking great pictures, including portrait photos with depth effect. And we're also glad Nokia has brought back the old Pro camera mode from its older Lumia phones. This has a selection of manual controls and should be a decent shooting experience. Nokia is also making much of its trio of microphones for HDR audio recording. Their ability to record sound up to 132 decibels should be good news for those to record live bands and aircraft at takeoff. Sony has opted for single camera and no depth effect, instead focusing on video features. For example, The 960 fps ultra slow-mo can now record at 1080p on the XZ2 rather than 720p, and it will capture 4K and HDR. There's still no support for 4K at 60 fps, though. Its other USP is 3D creator. You scan yourself with a rear or front camera to create a 3D model which you can then print or post on Facebook. Around the front, both phones have a 5MP selfie camera, pretty low resolution for flagship devices, we think. This is another area where the 8 Sirocco and XZ2 are level pegging. They both run Android One, which means that they have stock Oreo with the interface as Google intended it. It also guarantees 2 years of upgrades to the latest Android version. Choosing between the XZ2 and 8 Sirocco isn't easy. Pricing isn't confirmed and each phone offers different advantages. You may prefer the 8 Sirocco's design and higher resolution POLED screen, as well as its dual cameras. However, it has last year's processor, and if pricing rumors are right about the Sirocco, you'll be able to buy a Galaxy S9, albeit with its single rear camera, for the same money. The XZ2 is ultimately the more disappointing phone. It isn't down to specs but design. Again, you may be able to overlook this if it turns out to be cheaper than other 2018 flagships. But we suspect it won't be, and for that reason, it will struggle to win many over. Choosing between the XZ2 and 8 Sirocco isn't easy. Pricing isn't confirmed and each phone offers different advantages. You may prefer the 8 Sirocco's design and higher resolution POLED screen, as well as its dual cameras. However, it has last year's processor, and if pricing rumors are right about the Sirocco, you'll be able to buy a Galaxy S9, albeit with its single rear camera, for the same money. The XZ2 is ultimately the more disappointing phone. It isn't down to specs but design. Again, you may be able to overlook this if it turns out to be cheaper than other 2018 flagships. But we suspect it won't be, and for that reason, it will struggle to win many over.